it just ended up being my father's birthday, right? And I hadn't visited them in over a year. So I thought, okay, once as we normalize our travel schedule, we just have to know where everybody lives, and then we can. It's my friend Danny yesterday. He's like, "Why are you here, like in my area?" And I was like, "Hey, my parents live in Nova Scotia. I had an event in Toronto. I've got a book launch in Chicago next week. My fourth book gets launched. So I'm like, how do we? We're not flying everywhere. I'm staying in hotels. So how do we efficiently plan out our travel so we can make the most of all the not everybody who says they want to meet with me or I can come hang out with them. That doesn't always happen. Like I get a ton of people ghost me. So it's like, okay, we're friends on the internet, but you're not going to spend any time in person with me. That is duly noted, just so I know not to.
Spend your time
Uh,
like that.
well, exactly, because that might just be them saying, they're not, although everybody's self-employed and has a hustle or a gig. If you hate those words, I'm sorry, but
No,
not
I know what you
everybody
mean.
not everybody's actually in it. You go to networking events, you're going to have your group of non-businesses or people who want to start a business, and you got your five-figure, your six-figure, seven-figure, eight-figure. When I'm getting in groups, I don't know what level you're at in your business until we have a conversation, right? And then if I'm below where you are, then I'm like, give me some hints because I think I'm doing things well, but I could be doing way better. And then they're like, don't pay for any stages. Get them to pay you to be on stage. And I'm like, you should be at that level. I'm like, duly noted. Like,
Yeah.
give me some ideas. Tell me how you got yourself into that part of the equation, or being able to. And then you find out a lot of people have got their own booking agent, which is really them, but they use a different name, company name. They call and book on behalf of themselves as a different identity. And I was like, okay, so this is how you're doing it. Okay. So me meeting with people and asking for advice. I'm like, how did you get this far in your career by doing what we're doing right now, in-person networking, right? Getting into rooms, talking to people, and seeing who's legit and who's not legit, and going from there. So
Well,
anyway,
I think it's interesting because I think you point out that nobody made it the same way. So really, it's like timing, I think, is a lot because when we hear different people's stories, the more people we run into, it's interesting because each person's got their own story, their own timing, how things roll out, and it's really about taking advantage of the opportunities that they've laid out through doing a lot of the work. Really, we don't know anybody that's done anything instantly. It's always from whatever they were building, and then they get this opportunity happens and then things take off from it. And so it's really interesting hearing the different stories, and that might be another book. That might be a book we have to write, is the stories of all the people we meet, Mike.
well, it came up like what we haven't, we're obviously traveling RV lifestyle for over a year. So, and we've had so many encounters, we've had so many things go wrong, so many things go right. It will be a story. We just travel is demanding. Running your existing businesses is super demanding because there's seasons in your businesses, and you're like, hey, nobody's called us for 6 weeks. We got to do a lot of marketing, and then all of a sudden people start calling in. We're like, okay, the time we had, uh, all this free time we had to plan stuff and do things is kind of you gotta have the discipline and get it done, get it booked into your schedule, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, we'll have a lot of stories to write about.
Yeah, definitely. I've enjoyed your stories, quite honestly.
Well, I enjoyed seeing the pictures because it's like, oh, I'd love to be at Sandals because everybody I know and love is already there. But as a Canadian, the conversations I've had in the last 2 weeks, it's like you travel, you travel, you travel, you travel 5, 6 months. You come back for a week, a two. You come back for a holiday, a birthday, Christmas, and then you're back on the
Yeah.
road. Like we're full time on the road.
Yeah, I know. You guys are awesome, all the stuff that you're doing. So I love hearing what you're up to. It's always something new. It changes so drastically too, just in a couple weeks. You're like, "Oh, I'm at Niagara Falls."
And my friend Danny's on Zoom now. So welcome. Good morning, Danny. How are you doing? We're
Excellent.
talking.
Sorry, I'm so
We're
sorry.
not talking about you, but we're talking. So
There you go. Yeah, I'm a little bit late, a few minutes late.
that's
These calls back to back, it's so hard to be rude to somebody you care about and say, I gotta go, but sometimes you gotta go. So I wrapped up my
I
Zoom and
feel
got right
bad
on.
all the time. Like literally Wednesdays, 8 Zoom calls at the same time. So people are like, "Why you're paying to be a part of this group? You're paying for my." I'm like, eight. I'm like, "What? Tell me which one's the cutout because all these
Yeah.
relationships are important." And I'm not claiming I'm a celebrity yet, but we're ramping that. We're on the runway going, right? So when you get invited to 8 things on a Wednesday, you're literally a celebrity. You're like, I
There
don't
you
have
go.
enough time for this stuff, right? And if you ask me a question, great. I'll be here for 5, 10 minutes, and I got to jump and show up somewhere else. So thank you for showing up this morning. It's
Yeah,
very
super
much
excited.
appreciated.
I
Uh,
for those of you that are following the bouncing ball at home, I had the awesome opportunity to visit you and your beautiful wife yesterday. We got together and visited here in Niagara. It's super great that you travel. I love the fact that you're on the road. I'm so jealous. We talked about that. The opportunity to pack up and be to all different communities and meet different people, I think, are fantastic. And I was lucky enough that you're in my community and jumped at the chance. So I think we're going to try to squeeze another coffee in today before you guys drive away. So for anybody
100
who's yeah, for anybody who's
100%.
for
I don't
anyone
think
who's
we finished
watching
our
this, yeah,
conversations.
that's
I'm
it.
asking you for I'm asking you for advice, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. This makes sense. I've not what I got from you yesterday, no one has given me that advice before. So it's like this, it's great. Something to think about and stimulate my as I plan to broadcast, be omnipresent, and get my message more places and literally on more stages. Right? You've created your own stages,
Yeah,
and
of
that's what
course.
we've worked a little bit on, especially when we're over in Dubai and stuff like that. But it's nice to join forces with people who have stages and stage experience, building stages, and have that stage experience here in North America, as you know, because you've been on so many other
Mm.
stages. It's amazing.
Yeah, I will say to the people who are here, the people who watch, sometimes you have to make your own stage, and sometimes you have to kick the door in of a stage that doesn't want you. Life isn't easy. It's so hard to become famous. It's so hard to get your word out when you, especially if you have something that you're passionate about and want to say. And success is not an easy thing to find. It's as hard work and as dedicated as it's fruitful when you get to it. So yeah. So I'm excited to be about a part of this. I mean, I'd like to be YouTube famous. I absolutely would like to. It's one of those things that it's we talked briefly about it yesterday. It's like planting a seed in a farm. I mean, the truth of the matter is you can put the seed in the ground, but if you don't water it, it's not going to grow. And watering it once or twice isn't going to do it. You got to continuously work it until it becomes what you need it to. And when it finally evolves, it's just something absolutely incredible. So take a look at your business and your life and what you want to get out of it. And if you have the ability and the yearn to farm your own career, there's no question that in the end, the success that you find will be second to none. And that's kind of what I do every single day. Every single day, I try to attract the right people. My faith draws me to people who equally want to do things for the right reasons. And I try to reinvent the wheel every single day. Every single day, I take a look at what's fantastic about today and what I can do in order to maximize it. And at the end of the day, I have to feel good that I did something for my career. If you do that, you got 365 chances a year to find success.
So, since this is YouTube University, and the whole point of YouTube University is to make content, build your own stage using obviously YouTube stage, Facebook, you can make content, you can redistribute it everywhere, right? But to get to that point, you got to have the mindsets of either being able to get in front of the camera and just going live, or you're building stories and scripts and practicing your, you know, camera presence and all that stuff. So how introduce yourself because no one on other than myself and my wife, I don't know anybody knows you by name, knows what you are doing currently, and get us some background on how you got started. I know you can probably talk about for hours. We can go till 10 a.m.
That's right.
I just
I'll
I
keep it
want to give
less.
everybody, it's like this today's call is like the mindset call because this is week 19. So I've been talking as I travel across North America and Dubai, Middle East, Dubai, whatever. I'm talking to content creators. So they're not just YouTubers, but it's people who have a business, a message, a nonprofit. They want to start something. And this class is like, okay, we need to make videos. You need to get videos created. And if you don't know how to get that started, let's go to ideas,
Yeah.
script writing, getting brave enough to be in front of the camera, recording it and not worrying about what you look like, what you sound like. I get told I don't look straight at the camera, and I'm like, it's because I'm such an animated person, and I'm always thinking about the next question I'm going to ask you, right? So I'm
Yeah.
because I interview business owners, and I'm like, why do you think what technology issues? Like my normal question with a business owner is like, what can I solve for you? How can I fix a problem you immediately have? They're like, my technology sucks, my internet sucks. Everybody who tries helping me sucks, and I'm like, well, let me solve your problem so we can get this no like and trust situation out of the way, and then we'll go from there. So that's how I approach people, and then my on camera is different because I'm literally either interviewing somebody or I'm saying, this is how you fix your computer yourself.
Yeah.
Doing DIY stuff, right? So,
Nobody likes themselves on camera. I'm going to say to
hey,
you, nobody looked at themselves on, well, that's a lie. There was a time when Pamela Anderson probably thought that she looked good on camera, okay? But I don't think she
I
feels
know
the
how she
same
got, and
anymore.
I know how she
Yeah.
got started, and I know how she got started. She was
Yeah.
literally discovered on the Jumbotron in Vancouver at the BC
Yeah.
Lions game,
Well,
right?
I think that you have to not care what you look like on camera. I work morning radio. And there's a reason why I have a face for radio, because when you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to work on radio, you don't shower, you don't comb your hair, you don't even care. You're not even happy about being alive. So, for those that don't know me, I am Danny Z. I'm an entertainer. I own two radio stations and I am a television entertainer. So I'm blessed to say that I've done more than 5,000 shows in 50 countries over the course of the last 25 years. The strongest claim for me was in Niagara Falls. We had a 700-person theater where we did two shows a day, 7 days a week for 7 years without missing a show. In 2012, I got the award for doing more consecutive shows than any other Canadian entertainer in history. So I had to not care what I looked like in front of the camera because I was in front of the camera every single day. And when I was talking yesterday to Mike, I said, we videoed every show. So I have no shortage of content. I have 5,000 shows recorded. I could just, go back to back to back and play them if that's the road that I wanted to go down. But the first thing that you said that I think is very, very important is you have to show up for yourself and you have to turn the camera on. Even if your content isn't great, I can say to you, I'm a proud father of 6 children, and my son learned the word train today. He's 17 months old, and for whatever reason, he said train, and it was the cutest thing in the moment. If you didn't have the camera on, you wouldn't be able to share it. And when you see the innocence of a child and their subconscious growth and their ability to share, everybody looks at it and they fall in love. It doesn't have to be their child. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just the simplicity and beauty of the moment. So that's why the importance of having the camera on. Why do you think those cat videos do so well? The truth is, we live in such a chaotic world that we're just looking for honest, innocent fun. And when you can find something like that that happens organically and accidentally, that's the viral video. So take a look at your life, put the camera on. You can always delete the video. I don't believe in deleting the video. I archive it and save it. And I can't tell you how many times I've had to go back through the archives and pull something that I didn't think had any validity to it, but it turned out to be very important during the structure of what I was building or doing at that time. So first and foremost, turn the camera on. There is no such thing as bad content, because if you have no content, that's bad. So start creating content in whatever capacity. it's easy for me to create content because I work in the show business industry and I work in the radio industry, and I'm a minority. So many other people don't work in that industry. So it's easier for me to get on here and say, you can be a YouTube star when I have cameras around me right now. But what does a YouTube star or what does a celebrity mean to you? When you define who that character is and who that you want to be, when you see who you think the audience should see and you define that character, and this is so important because I entertain under the name Danny Zzzz. And you can see on my screen, my real name is Daniel Pollan. Daniel Pollan is a proud father of six. He gets a cold and doesn't feel well. He can tell you because of the arthritis in his knees that we have a cold front coming this Tuesday. Okay. So I can say to you that Dan Pollan is just a father and a husband and a friend, and I can be vulnerable. Danny Z isn't that. Danny Z is a brave, confident person so that when the microphone turns on or the camera turns on, I fall into character. So if you would like to be YouTube famous, you have to define what your character is and who that is. Mike and I talked about it yesterday a great deal, and I said the exact same thing to him. Even though he's so intelligent on YouTube and on these things, I said to him, you need to define the character that you want people to see you as, because there's three characters here. There's him as a father and a husband and a friend. There's him as a tech person, and then there's him as a YouTube content creator with people like us. And you have to break up that character and decide who it wants to be. I've been on many stages where somebody wears a specific color shoe, or a lady who only wears red dresses or whatever. They have defined who their character is. And when you know who that character is, then that character is allowed to be outside of your norm. That character is you can allow that character to be outgoing or have permission to sing in the shower or have confidence to talk to somebody, because it's like acting. The minute you define who that character is, gives that character the ability to do things that the person wouldn't. Okay? So I'll back it up a little bit and say, because of my own faith, it doesn't give you the ability to do something wrong. You should still have good, strong moral ethics and all of those disclaimers that I feel like I need to say when you're defining who you need to be. But if you can approach who that character is, it becomes an easy, tangible, sellable product because you can describe it in the third person. I can say, Danny Z is not afraid to do anything. Danny Z is not afraid to be on stage. Danny Z is good with kids and good with family. He's a clean content, corporate friendly entertainer. He always wears white shoes, blue jeans, and a black t-shirt. The character is so defined that I know who that is, and I know that when I put my Superman outfit on, how that person should be represented in public. So what does YouTube famous mean to you? It should mean that you're trying to create a character that people on YouTube will fall in love with. And if they do, they're going to invest themselves, because time is our most valuable commodity. Let's be honest. It's the only thing we can't replace. Well, I don't want to ruin it for everybody who watches this in replay or watching it live, but one day we get very sick and die. That's how it ends, okay? So we only have between now and then. So what is going to be great about your today? What can you do to make an impact and define who you need to become today? And what does that character say about you? So because of that, you can't waste it. And we all have smartphones, we all have webcams, we all have the ability to create a defining moment that becomes our legacy, because long after we're gone, people will still have access to that information. So on YouTube, is it something tangible and a character that people can fall in love with or find interesting or stay for time spent listening? Here in the radio industry, time spent listening is the most important. That's how we make our money. We need you on here for at least 15 minutes, if not 30, 45, an hour. YouTube is the exact same way. If your videos are only getting 3 seconds or 20 seconds of watch, it's not because your content isn't good. It's because you're not any good. Because you could have the most amazing content. If the host sucks, nobody wants to listen to that voice, that face, that character. So You have to take a look, an honest look at that character, and you have to be willing to take strong criticism. Again, this is very important. Danny Zzzz characters had tremendous success, television and radio, tremendous success. I'm just the face because I have producers, audio engineers, people behind the scenes that criticize me and say, "Turn your head, you're not doing that right. The light is wrong. I can tell you already, I should have had this light turned off before. I look like Claude McLeod from The Love Boat. Look at it shining off the top of my head." I My audio and video engineers govern all of that stuff and they make sure that I'm presented in the best version. So that's what you need is you need people who can honestly say to you, "I don't like that shirt. I can't see any of you because I'm not wearing my
No
glasses."
stripes.
Okay?
No stripes and no funny patterns. I get
That's
told that
it.
all the time when I'm in New York. So
Yeah. I don't wear my glasses and I see a gentleman who's wearing glasses, but I don't wear my glasses because you can see the ring light. So that's a distraction to the person who's watching it. So in my laptop, which is how I'm watching you, is hooked up to a 55-inch TV so that I can actually see you guys. So I have a secondary source that allows me the freedom not to wear my glasses. Well, that's something that the person who's watching doesn't get to see. They assume I don't wear glasses. Are you kidding me? I'm blind as a bat. But it's not about me. The character needs to present well, and I can't have a distraction of a ring light in my glasses. So there's so many elements, and it's not overwhelming when you have a coach. And I'm not upselling Mike, and I am certainly here to support his business. But that's where having a pro in your corner is so valuable. That's where when he gets people who sign up for his course, that's the stuff that you wouldn't know. I look at Mike's background and I think it's okay. I hate the logo on his shirt. I don't even know what the logo is. Sorry, Mike.
it's my business.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. I'm just saying to you, when I look at Darlene, I see that she's got pictures and things in the background. I'm going to say to both of those people, I would have a problem having you on one of my lives because in television and even in radio, product placement is important and it won't go viral or it won't get picked up if you have a logo. So even if it's his logo, the television person doesn't know whose logo it is, but they know they're not paid sponsors, so they don't want any logo in the background. So you can see I just have a brown curtain. I would love to have my station identification or I would love to have my own stuff in the background. They'll never put me on. My headphones don't have any names showing. My shirt doesn't have any names showing. When you see me on television, you'll see my shoes are totally white with no color and no known Nike check symbol or any of that stuff. My pants don't have pockets that are easily represented with a company. My t-shirt is basic black because the television companies want to make all the money. They don't want you to make the money. Now, when you talk about YouTube famous, when you have a clean bill, so to speak, where you have nothing that's showing anything, companies will want to be in you. They'll want to sponsor. They'll want to be the product placement in your picture and they should pay. So what you have in the background is essential because you don't want to devaluize your ability. If you're a great character with nothing in the background, somebody should say, "How can I get my cup? How can I get my Tim Hortons delicious coffee into the video?" So, well, you can give me a whole bunch of money. That's how you can do it. The truth of the matter is, if you'd like me to endorse your product, you have to pay for it. My content is strong. My character is strong. I'm not going to wear your short, your logo, your anything unless I'm getting paid for it. And the secondary thing, which I'm going to just wrap up that whole subject is, when you go YouTube famous and when things kick off, so many people won't share it because there's a logo in the background. There's so many people who will look at your video and say, "That logo, I don't know that company, don't know that logo. I'm not going to share that out of fear of it going against my own belief system, my own copyrights, my own anything." So it's amazing. It doesn't matter how great you are, your environment around you is so essential. And when we watch television movies and the stars of Hollywood and all of that stuff, now that I've just explained to you, no logos, no anything or whatever, that's why they say, "Who are you wearing?" Because it doesn't say it on their shirt. That's why they have the backdrops that say Coca-Cola all across the back, because that's the only way they're getting in is if they pay to play. So when you understand that every single thing about how your video is presented Lighting is important, reflection is important, background is important. Every one of these things that you check off your list makes you a stronger YouTube potential because you're hitting all of the bars that Mike will tell you that will help give you a better chance at growth. In the end, your character and your content is the most important. And I've already touched on saying it's better to have more content than no content. So the consistency of video, the consistency of posting, we live in a Facebook world where we think I'm going to put that funny video on Facebook or maybe even Instagram. I believe with everything that I'm standing here for, that YouTube is the next big thing. When they started to allow shorts and different length videos in there, it's going to be the app that people are going to go to watch. Right now, there's TikTok, which has all kinds of controversy and potentially is going to have some changes based on what Trump has decided, whether or not people have it. There's other platforms. Everybody, even Facebook, has streaming videos. But YouTube, in my opinion, I'm saying it here first. In 5 years or something like that, we're going to see that YouTube takes over the Netflix and the Crave and all of those because they're creating such strong video platforms and they're really the people who started it all. And because of that, they have such a tremendous following and a built-up relationship with people who are YouTube famous that it's just going to make logical sense that they take over that. And when that happens, the people who put the work in today will be 5 years farther than the people who jump on the bandwagon when it starts. Our whole YouTube system is like Bitcoin. Somebody said something about it and we didn't act on it. You should buy stocks in Tesla. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. I'm telling you right now, 5 years from now, YouTube is going to be one of the strongest platforms out there. And the people who don't play now, today, with their crap content, their poor character, when they don't build their station, their following, and their presence, when that happens, they're going to be left behind. I said this to Mike yesterday. I said, we were talking about him and his journey across the world in his trailer, which I'm just fascinated by. And I said, how are you not creating content every single day? I said, create a page that you don't even share. Because if I asked any one of you to pull up your phone right now and scroll, people scroll 20 things. They scroll, and then they put it down. If you went to my social media pages, you would look at 20 pictures. You would scroll, and you'd stop. You don't go back to 50 or 100. You scroll 20 and then you stop. Our attention span only allows us to swipe with our fingers like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And by then, squirrel, we're off to something else. So I say to him, you should create a whole bunch of content of you on the road, even if no one sees it, so that when the content of the character that he's developing about being somebody on the road becomes valid and a trailer company or Toyota wants to give him a new truck or somebody wants to sponsor his venture as a YouTube famous traveler, they're going to scroll and see that there's a million videos and they don't want to look at them. They just want to know that they're there. So they're going to scroll to 20 and stop. So he needs 50 in the back room, so to speak, so that they scroll far enough to know I could just scroll forever. It's like a magic trick. You're showing them that there's so much stuff there that you can look, but they won't. So right now, when you're creating that content and Mike says you need to create content every day or you need to put something once a week or do it consistently, I'm saying to you, which he might hate, I don't know, but I'm saying to you, I would rather you put consistent stuff up that allows you to have a history so that when the good stuff starts to develop and come, you have a laundry list of stuff behind you. So it falls back to almost the beginning of the conversation where you just have to do it. You have to force yourself out of your comfort zone. You got to create the content and you got to post it. The reason why Mike is very valuable to me outside of our friendship is the fact that I don't have the attention span to post it or do it or follow the analytics of what works and what doesn't work. I think that these social media platforms, you really have to be in touch. You have to be the person that reads the forums and watches the news and checks all that. And that's who he is in this character that he plays for us on this channel, is he knows what's happening. So he's not giving us his opinion. He's saying this is what's happening now. So if he says we need to post more, or we need to do this, or you got to do uh, uh, 20-minute videos and then we're going to get them down to 12 and then down to 3. It's because it's like your grandma's perfect pie recipe. You can't change it. You have to do it. You got to follow the bouncing ball, and if you do it, it's your best opportunity to be successful at it. And when you look at the money that can be made, we look at people who make millions of dollars and you're like, wow, I'd like to be to them, but how can I get to that point? Well, I can tell you how you can't get to that point by doing what you're doing now. Nothing. Those people just did something consistently over and over and over again. And how did I get to 5,000 shows? I did 1, and then I did 2, and then I did 3.
One. Exactly. I
Yeah,
said, one, I just told you, have a backlog, but really posting on social, one video a week shows consistency. You can add more, you can add shorts, you can add lives, but one video a week, because when people are searching for you, and if it's on more than one platform, great. I think YouTube's got the furthest reach. It's embedded in everybody's TVs now, blah, blah, blah. 5 years out, if there's any media companies left, YouTube will be left, right?
that's right. Yep.
Not that, because they just look. You meet somebody, they look at your content. You either show up on the internet or you don't, right? So I know I missed this story yesterday because I missed the story, but my wife told me bits and pieces of the Leno story,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Right? So you literally, is that how you got onto TV? Was that you
That was
stood and
that
went
was my
down and
that was a good strong break. That helped me a great deal. We had talked in
I don't know the
conversation.
full life story.
No,
I've
I'll
read
tell
the
you.
book. I've forgotten the book already just because you
Thank
read
you.
books. And what do you remember but you're like, hey, I like this person. I like the stories because you have to get out of your comfort zone. And when somebody's like, hey, it's like when I was in Mississauga 2 days ago at an event and I survived all the interview rounds because I'm like, hey, I'm a business. I'm already doing this. I'm already doing this. I'm already doing this. Tell me what you like about the brand, what you don't like about the brand, so I can tweak it. Because when I'm on the next stage, I already have all this other feedback, right? You gave me feedback yesterday. Told me
Yeah.
feedback about the background today, and I've been told to put logos in the background, and you're telling me not. So it's like, okay, so
Yeah. Well, you know what? You should put logos in the background if someone's paying you to put them there.
well, they're supposed to be placeholders, but that is the information I get from other people, right? So I'm just saying everybody's going to have their own opinion, and you just kind of gauge and measure it. And what this class about is really like, okay, it's Saturday, it's week 19. Have you posted your one video this week?
Yeah.
Are you making a backlog of them to document your stuff, right? Like, what are you exactly doing with developing your character and your story? Because it needs to get out there, but you got to work on it. And it's a weekly check-in. How is it going this week, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's what coaching is, right? It's accountability. So we won't do something on our own, but if we know we got to jump on a call on Saturday morning, we'll make sure that it's done Friday night at 11 o'clock so that we can say yes. Right? That's the accountability that we require.
So,
So
so yeah, can you the go over the
tell the
so
story. Yeah.
tell the story because I don't know, like I heard from my wife the Leno story, but like
Yeah,
at that
Mike got
point,
up. We'll say it. We'll say it openly, and this would be a great YouTube moment. We were deep in a conversation, and his bladder wouldn't allow him to sit there any longer.
exactly,
Okay, that's the
exactly.
truth. So
Danny was buying me beers, so
that's right.
we just rolled with it. So
So up he got, and it was probably the third beer that we had. So he was in there for some time. That's all. So he missed the
yeah,
story.
okay.
So that's a good YouTube moment. Somebody copy a clip for that. Me. I I'm a very, very good friends with some people in Los Angeles, and a great friend of mine, Craig, had the opportunity to take me to the Jay Leno show, and he said that at the beginning of every show, Jay asks everybody 3 questions. He comes out and warms up the audience. He comes out and he says, "Hey, everybody, we're gonna have a great show today. Are you guys ready?" And everyone's like, "Yay!" You know what I mean? And he asks a couple questions, and then when he's done the questions, he says, "Okay, I'm gonna walk off. When I come in, I want everyone just to jump and scream. We're gonna have a great time." And that's how the show starts. So Because I know he only asks 3 questions, not 2, not 4. He does 3 every time. I wanted to be a part of that. So he says, okay, does anybody have a question? Everyone's like, Jay, 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 Jay. And he points to somebody and says, yeah, do you have a question? And they're like, hey, can I get a picture? He's like, sure. They run down, hold the phone, quick selfie, gone. So next time he says, hey, anybody have a question? I'm screaming, yeah, yeah, yeah. Points to somebody else, says, hey, you have a question? They say, yeah, can I get a picture? They say, yeah. He comes down, takes a selfie. So now I know this is the last time. So he says, anybody else with a question? I stood up and walked right down. Okay. I didn't even wait. So he said, oh, you want a selfie? And I said, nope, I want to show you a magic trick. And I did a magic trick for him. I'm a magician. And when it was all done, he was like, yeah, that's great. Thanks. And then he said, okay, guys, we're going to have a great show, blah, blah, blah. And the show went on. Well, when we were all done, we were getting ready to leave with everybody else walking. And then security kind of grabs us and says, can you step over here, please? So we thought perhaps that we were going to get a little scolding or a talking to, because I did just approach the bench, so to speak. There was no question. I just got up and walked in. And perhaps it would have been one of those things where somebody might have said, that's not how it works, you're banned, or who knows what, all those things that you worry about. So they put us in this room, and a few minutes later, Jay shows up, and he was like, that was really cool. And I was like, thanks. He was like, would you like to do it on the show tomorrow? And I said, yes. So the next day, we were there, but we weren't waiting with everybody else. We had our own room. And the next day, he said, he come out and he said, yesterday on a show, I met somebody who did a trick for me, and we thought we'd bring him out. Here he is, Danny Zzzz. And I come out, I do my trick for him, which is great. And I think that that's it. And he's like, yeah, come on, sit on the couch. And then he asked me some questions on the couch. And the next thing you know, Kelsey Grammer comes out and he's on the couch next to me. And it opened up a world of TV for me. From then, I went on Jimmy Kimmel, Jay Leno, different shows, Ellen. It opened. I actually said this yesterday in our conversation. I always say I never push race, religion. I never try to talk politics. Like, you have to desensitize yourself when you're in a public forum because you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But I don't mind saying this. If God opens up a door and you don't push on through, that's your mistake. So no matter what your belief system is, my belief system says to me that I have an opportunity that's presented in front of me. And if I just want to peek through the door and take a look and see what's on the other side, that's not what its intentions are supposed to be. So I kick that door open and jump in and say, hey, I'm here. Because what do I got to lose? The worst thing they can do is tell me to get out of the room. And I wasn't in the room to begin with. So when that opportunity came, I was forced to make an uncomfortable decision. And the uncomfortable decision was to walk down and take the chance. At worst, I could have got kicked out and not seen the show. Or at worst, he could have said no. But I was already at no. He wasn't picking me. So I took the opportunity, I took the step, and it opened up a whole bunch of media that I never would have got otherwise. So sometimes we don't realize where that door comes from. That door might have came from being at a television show, and you're not at a television show, and you can look at it and say, oh, well, that doesn't really apply. But it's not about that. That's what's so interesting about YouTube, is YouTube isn't just about what's happening on television. It's about what's happening worldwide. It's about the person who, I love the videos that you see where there's a lady changing a flat tire and a man goes over and helps her. Or there's an elderly person at the grocery store that's putting change on there, and the man goes behind her and taps the card and pays for her groceries with the debit card. I love it when I see a child that wants candy and mom doesn't have it, and the store owner gives the boy the candy bar. The simplicity of kindness is more viral than anything that I can do on television. I can be hanging from my feet in a straitjacket on fire over Niagara Falls, hanging from a helicopter, the ridiculous thing. And you'll watch it. You'll watch it for 3 minutes or 5 minutes and watch it. But you'll watch that candy bar video with the little kid 4 times, and then you'll share it with one of your friends and say, oh my God, this just warmed my heart. Look at this. So the difference is the content is created and great by how it makes you feel, not how it looks. So we're surrounded by the ability to create content that makes a significant difference in others people's lives just because of kindness. We live in such a world where when we watch the media and watch news, I live for news every day because I work in radio, so I have to talk about it. P. Diddy trial, um, uh, Charlie Kirk's murder, what's happening with Trump today. Like, I mean, I could give you a laundry list of things that make the news, that are top news that people hear. And I can say to you, just in those three items, there's nothing in them that I just said in those three titles that inspire you to get on with your day. You know about what's going on and you're interested in what's happening, but it doesn't make you a better person. When you see that kindness and the kindness in others, when you open a, I'm an old Polak, so I still believe you open a door for a lady. I still believe that when you see a man, you shake his hand. I believe that when you meet a child, you acknowledge them and say their name and look them in the eyes. I think those old school values make me very powerful in the community because it shows that I respect the people who are around me. That's the type of videos that we want to go viral. We want people to understand that there's good in the world. And I think that in all, oh, you know what kills me? Those videos where the soldier comes home to his family and surprises them. Oh my God, I'm crying like a girl. Why does that affect me so much? Because I miss my own family. Because I understand what it's like to have separation and the idea that that child or that wife or that husband or that parent gets to see somebody that they miss affects me. That's such great content when you can create something that affects the viewer in a fashion that makes them feel. None of those things that I have just mentioned require a studio or circle lighting or a camera crew. Kindness can be captured on a cell phone. So, and if you have an opportunity to video your entire day and you can't find a single act of kindness to capture, I think you need to reevaluate your life, the people who you're with, your social setting, and what you do. Because if you can't find a reason to be kind every single day and make an impact in somebody else's life, you shouldn't be on this call. Like you really should be digging deep into yourself and finding a new you. Okay, because your character isn't good. My at the end of my day, I have a beautiful baby that I'm going to be inspired by those moments that I described earlier. Or my daughter's going to talk to me about horseback riding, or my son about football. My wife is going to tell me what I missed with my child when I was gone to work that day. And I'm going to meet somebody en route at the coffee shop or somewhere where I'm going to have the ability to simply smile and make their day better. So that's kind of how I look at the lens of the camera of my life is you get what you give. And if you're not projecting a positive, strong heart, if you so desire, a faith-based program, if you're not giving kindness, you'll never receive it and you won't get those viral moments that will change your life. And if you look at each day and attack it that way, knowing that you're going to make a difference for one person, that's an amazing viral moment every moment. Now, having your camera out shouldn't be the reason why you give to the homeless. Okay. Like if you're looking to get rich because you're kind to other people, that's the wrong thing. I'm just saying to you that we're surrounded with the opportunity to create content if you understand what good content is. So when you take a look at the things, not that we see when we scroll, because we see tons of crap. 99% of what we see isn't valid. It's just on there. But the ones that you stop and listen, the ones that you tell somebody or you share, that's the content that reflects what resonates in you. And that's the content that you should be looking to create. Because if it affects you in a way, it'll affect somebody else in a way. If it makes you feel, it'll make somebody else feel. And what a great opportunity to create content that could change the world. I mean, if everybody posted only good, my gosh, it would just be incredible to watch.
I know, but everybody posts this is clickbait, right?
Yeah.
Clickbait to get views. So that Leno story of you get walking down to the stage, doing the magic trick, being invited back. What at what point was that in your career? Because I know you come from being a hypnotist, and
Well,
then
Leno hasn't been on for a long time,
well,
so that
I
just
know, but I
ages
was
me
like, did
right
that
there.
launch the America's Got Talent, or how? Like, what?
No,
At what point in your career and be on stages? Because I know you're on radio, you're on
yeah.
TV.
I
At what
started
point was
I
Leno?
I started my very first show. Oh my goodness, what day is today? Unbelievable. October 4th, 2004 was my very first show. Literally, look at that. How many years
20
ago
years
is
now.
that?
Okay,
20,
okay,
20, yeah, 22 years, right? 21
yeah,
years?
yeah.
Yeah.
21.
Was my very first show that I ever did. It was at the CAW Hall in St. Catharines, where I live, and it was I had never done a show before, and I put together a show and sold tickets, and people came to the show this evening, 21 years ago, and that was it. And I wasn't an entertainer or a magician. Um, my entire career, I was a tattoo artist and a construction laborer. I just worked my ass off doing other stuff. And when I had achieved the success that I needed in business that gave me some financial security, my wife said, "What do you want to do? Like, we should step aside from this business. What do you want to do?" And I said, what any normal, logical person would say. I said, "I want to be a magician." Nobody's ever used that word in a sentence. I'm the only person that's ever used that word in a
I
sentence.
know another magician in Toronto, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, but they don't give up their career to become a magician. They want to make a living. So, I was fortunate enough to have a construction engineer background and finances, so I could afford to invest in myself and make it work. And I had already had a strong character and character development. And I started just as Dan Paul and the Magician, and my magic shows were failing horribly. So I took a hypnosis course and created the character Danny Zzzz because I put people to sleep. That's the Z's. And the hypnosis show got picked up, and we got a theater in Niagara Falls, and that's where we did all those string of shows. As I'd written myself on my vision board, had an autographed picture of me in a very unflattering, shiny blue shirt that I thought would have been cool as a magician. And I look back at it now, and I'm like, that guy's a loser. But I autographed it and said, in 1 year, I will be doing 2 to 3 shows a month. In 1 year, I was doing 2 shows a day, 7 days a week. So you have to tell yourself sometimes what you expect to achieve. Otherwise, you lose sight of it. So every day when I sat in front of my office, I was aware of what I was doing. And how many people, I can only see 4 or 5 of you. Have you seen that movie Cinderella Man with Russell Crowe? Well, when you get off, everyone has to watch it. Okay, that's all there is to it. But it's a real true life story of a boxer during the Depression who lost everything. And one of the things that most inspired me about the entire movie is they said, what are you doing this for? Like, what are you fighting for? And he says, milk. And the truth is, there was a point in his downfall and how poor him and his wife were during the Depression that she had to add water to the milk because they didn't have enough milk for the kids. So she just put some water in it and said, I got my own cow. And it just broke him as a man because he recognized he wasn't providing for his children in a way that was strong enough. His children were drinking watered down milk. So when he rose back in the boxing industry and was fighting for the championship, and somebody said, "Why are you doing this?" And he said, "Milk." It resonated with me because when we really look back and reflect on why we do the things, when you have a reason that's strong enough for you to achieve success, there's nothing that will prevent you from achieving that. So when I look at my vision board, what's on my vision board? There was me promising myself that I would do at least a couple shows a week or a month or whatever, and a picture of my family because I need to understand what I'm doing. And that's an important thing to touch it back on YouTube. Everything that we post becomes a reflection of them. If I post something that's negative or not good, if you don't think it's going to be associated with my children and their social media, you're wrong. The internet doesn't forget. So the social media audits I get through the Got Talent industry and these opportunities that I get, the truth of the matter is my kids' friends all know they're my kids. So if I reflect myself wrong on social media in any way, on YouTube in any way, it gets on them. So I know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for milk. I'm doing it so that my kids have the best version of what I can provide from them because as we all do, we want to offer what we didn't have growing up. And we want to provide in a different fashion so that our family is safe and healthy and has the best version as they grow to become parents. So I think that where my show started 21 years ago and how it grew, how I became into hypnosis was interesting because I was failing as a magician and needed it. I recognized that my business had to grow in a different way in order for me to find that success. Magic wasn't enough, so magic and hypnosis was. And then when I was doing that show, the mayor and the region organizer approached me about doing a television commercial to bring people to Niagara. Niagara Falls, one of the seventh wonders of the world, a beautiful place. They obviously do tons of advertisement. How do we get people to come to this beautiful city? And I was the number one entertainer in Niagara. I was number one on TripAdvisor. My show was rated higher than Niagara Falls itself. Which is pretty amazing. I don't know how that happened, but we had so many people that our reviews were just coming in so high. So the mayor and the region said, "Would you like to be a part of a commercial?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And they said, "We're having the anniversary of Harry Houdini coming to the falls. Would you like to do an escape?" And I said, "Yeah." And I'd never done an escape before. So I did what any logical person would do. I ordered a straitjacket on Amazon and I had it delivered and I never rehearsed because I was doing a straitjacket escape hanging from my feet from a helicopter over Niagara Falls. So I didn't have a helicopter. So there was no real way to practice. So I had put it on in my living room and yanked around and all of that stuff to try to figure out how to get out. But the time came when I had to do it. I had never done it before. And I will say that when you're hanging upside down, everything goes like this. So that crotch strap is real tight. I just for the men out there, I'm just saying to you, it was a real uncomfortable few minutes, but it was an opportunity for me to get out. And when I did, the straitjacket dropped and they flew me back to the ground. And it was the very first escape that I'd ever done. And I don't recommend it, but I will say that if I didn't take that opportunity, if I didn't kick that door open and say, yes, I would do it, I wouldn't be on this call today. I wouldn't have the circle of friends that I've created. I wouldn't have been on the television shows that I was on. The opportunity came from hard work and dedication. I had created a character that was easy to sell. People liked it. I was strong in my community. A door opened. I kicked it open. I did that. And now escapology is my primary source of income. I mean, it's I next week, I think, or the week after, I'm in Romania. I'm doing my 17th or 18th Got Talent, and I've done Got Talent All Stars. I've done them in most countries. I'm the most decorated Got Talent entertainer in the world, and it's because I say, yeah, I'll try that. I'll do that. So life is good. I talk too long?
No, 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 no. I'm just taking it all in because it's like literally what every business person runs into is you're asked like, what do you do? And you're like, well, I do this. And then you add another service on. Then you add this, you're developing that character and saying not everything you say yes to you can actually is going to be what you're going to be doing in the future, but you have to take those risks,
You have to
right?
try. It's okay to try something and fail. It's essential that you do. That's how we learn what foods we like, drinks we like, people we like. You and I spent 3 or 4 hours yesterday just sitting and talking like school kids. And it would have been easy for me to say, no, my daughter's got horseback riding or something. The door of opportunity for you to come through my community was a gift. So I took it. I drove 20 minutes to where you are, and you and I sat in a place that I'd never been and you'd never been, and we just talked. There's a reason why things happen. Opportunities come for a reason. You have to act on them, even if they're uncomfortable. There's never going to be enough time. There's never going to be another opportunity. You have to really look at it and live for today. In our coffee or a beer. So we actually had beers. We, in our having a couple of beers together as two friends, opened up an opportunity for me to meet new people here on this live. And for the people who watch the replay, it's given me a different audience, people who will creep me out on social media and YouTube and watch what I do based on the fact that I had a simple conversation with a friend over a couple of beers. I had talked to Michael a great deal about doing business together. I have a talent agency. I'm hoping that we can find ways to work together. And working together is essential because I don't know everything. I know I'm an expert in my own field, but I don't know anything about what he does. So if I can create a friendship, I know that I can call a friend or ask a question or work on those opportunities. So social networking and marketing is essential in our growth. It's smart growth. I mean, the person behind the curtain is what makes the person on stage look great. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Do you have a team of people that you believe in and believe in you? And life costs money, unfortunately. I got to say that to you too. It's when I find people to invest in, when I find people who I want to help me, I have to take a look at the economics and the return of investment. And I have to say, my YouTube sucks right now because I have enough content, but I don't have what it takes to put what I need into it. So I need somebody who is a creator or has that ability to do it. And that's the investment you make. You make an investment in somebody that says, I have the ability to help you when you can't help yourself. And for Michael and I, we're very, very lucky because I can say to him, look what I can bring to the table and look what I have. I would love to partner and go in business in some fashion with us that we can serve one another without having our hands in each other's pockets, so to speak. So I love the opportunity that he puts out every single week. And every week, we didn't pre-talk about this. I didn't say I was going to sell your business, but anybody who wants to be YouTube famous should be locking on and doing business with you because you're an expert in that field. If anybody wants to hang from a helicopter on fire in a straitjacket, call me. I mean, I'm an expert in the field. So, yeah. So align yourself with people. And I'm going to drive home after this call in a car that I had to pay lots of money for. And it's getting me from point A to point B. And I didn't question the cost of the car. I just know that the ride is good. So when you're looking at being YouTube famous and you're like, do I want to make an investment? You're investing in yourself. You have to take a look at the ride. You got to take a look at where you're going and how you're going to get there. What's the safest and best way for you to get there? I choose to do it in a nice car. That's all. I'm making a strong investment in myself so that I can achieve what I need to in the most comfortable fashion as quick as possible. So I bought a fast, nice car. That's all. And that's what you are. You're a fast, nice car for somebody who wants to be YouTube famous. I'm copywriting that once we get off the call.
I was going to ask you. So I know how you got on stage. You built it by being the hip. You started just you built your own stage. You got a studio. You started doing that. You started traveling, doing your show. You got on Leno. Where did the radio opportunity come in? Because I know you got a radio show. So, and we talked a little bit because I know there's just
yeah. The truth is, anybody who's successful never made a living at it. Okay.
I'm not saying.
No. I'm telling you.
Like,
yeah,
it's just stages. Whether you pay to be on a stage, or you could do it for free, or you get a little bit of money per diem.
Yeah,
it's a stage. Radio existed before the internet.
Yeah, the truth of the matter is my story is a book. It's a big book because I have so many different chapters and many little facets of my life that created who I am today. Radio started for me in 1995. And I could talk for an hour about this. There isn't enough time. So I'll make it very, very brief. I actually won a radio contest. I won the Polar Beach contest to spend 9 days partying with Metallica, Hole, Veruca Salt, and Moist in the Arctic. Okay, what are the chances? Yeah. So it was a Molson Polar Beach party where we spent that time in Tuktoyaktuk in the Arctic. And when I say we partied with them, I mean, I had dinner with James Hetfield, like sitting next to me. Like it wasn't, they were in another room. Like it was an intimate party of 40 winners and 400 locals in Tuktoyaktuk. So I can promise you that the people in the Arctic, most of them didn't even know who Metallica was. So it was really 40 of us for 9 days drinking. It was ridiculous. So I won a radio contest. What's the craziest thing you do to party with Metallica in the Arctic? I nailed my tongue to a tree. Okay. Don't do that. Um, but it got me on the radio. You can imagine a guy that nails his tongue to a tree to go to a contest. I was on the radio all over Canada and in the newspapers. And when I came back from the Arctic, the radio station said, "We'd like you to work for our promo team," because I had created that buzz. So I started working in promotions on at the radio show for no money. Like I mean, and I say like minimum wage, but even less than minimum wage. You're working 4 hours, you're really getting paid for two. And I had no aspirations of being into radio, but I'm that guy that if I'm there, I'm going to be the best version of myself. So in 1995, I started working volunteer slash slightly paid on 97.7 Hits FM, which was the radio station here in Niagara. And I worked there for 6 years. In 6 years, I went from the volunteer, slightly paid promo guy to the morning show host and producer of the #1 radio station in Canada. We won every major broadcasting award in Canada. So it's not because I got the voice. It's not because I have my co-host Randy Taylor. He's got that voice. He's like, "You're listening to 97.7 Hits FM, Randy Taylor and Danimal live in the morning." Like he's got that voice. I didn't have that voice. I was like, "Yeah, that's me. I'm here." You know what I mean? But the character that I played, I was Danimal back then. The character that I played on the show made it likable and worth listening to. And then my work ethics allowed me to grow in the company because if someone called in sick, I volunteered for the show. If my shift started at 9 o'clock, I got there at 8:45. Like, I mean, my work ethics opened up my door of opportunity. And I grew in the company. I was kind to others and I was likable and I built myself a radio career. After the 6 years of working in radio, I what happens when you get good in radio is another radio steals you and another radio station steals you. So I puddle jumped all the way around the Greater Toronto area and the Niagara region to all of the stations. And eventually I bought a broadcasting license and opened up my own radio station. I own 2 radio stations now. So when we take a look at the ridiculous of my life and all of the things that we talk about, Danny Zzzz is a character or an author or a speaker or all of these things. Yeah, I wear all of those hats because every single day I'm trying to reinvent the wheel to support my family. I'm doing it for milk. So you have to evolve and be the best version that you can be in any circumstances. And if it means going to work at 4 o'clock in the morning to do 5 hours of radio so that I can leave that job and work full time at another job in order to support my children, well, then God bless me, because that's how I should be reflecting as a father. I should be showing my family that I'm providing for them in the best fashion that I can. And then you hope to make more money at it until you don't have to work as hard. That's the truth of the matter. So when I look at the colorful past and all of the jobs and all of the things that I did, it was because I wasn't professionally gifted enough at any of them to just make a living doing that. That's all. So even now, my entertainment industry as Danny Zzzz pays me very well and I'm able to support my family, but I'm still a speaker. I'm still an author. If anybody needs their driveway shoveled when it snows, call me. This is my phone number. I'll post it. You know what I mean? Like until my kids are through college and university, until I have created a substantial support system for my wife when I pass, I'm going to work. That's just how it's got to be until I'm in a stable situation that allows those freedoms for the others that I've created. So I don't know. This wacky life that I lead is not an easy one to live. I don't watch TV. I tend to work probably more than I should. I bet if my wife and children were on the same thing, they wish that I would take more time off or do other things. And perhaps maybe I should. But the truth is, the dream that I'm chasing is so much broader than the character that I play that I just don't want to miss. That's all. I just don't want to miss. I got some stuff to do. So, in the end, when you guys watch this, whether you're on live or you're watching it in replay, life is life is your own YouTube channel. I mean, the content that you create, the things that you do, it's all there. It's up to you whether you create good content in your life or bad content in your life. And as Mike reinvents the wheel by creating this opportunity for the people who jump aboard, the truth is we already are creating the content of our life. We're already hoping that it's impactful and strong and full of ups and downs and beautiful roller coaster rides. Just some people will get paid for it by holding their phone up. That's all. Like you got to live your life every single day, no matter what. Do you have what it takes to capitalize off of other people sharing it with you? So when you take a look at what I've shared with you today, perhaps some of you will say, wow, I'd love to be on a television show, or I'd love to do an escape, or I'd love to have this or have that. You do get that. You get that opportunity every time you click on YouTube and look at one of my videos, because you get to live vicariously through the ridiculous life that I lead. And it means that you're not put at risk, but you can still feel the shudder of the box when it drops, or the nervousness as the time ticks by. You still get to go on that beautiful romantic equation that I call my life, because I share it with you. So what's important is that you create a story that other people can live vicariously through yours. So you've lived so long and done so much. You just need to find a way to tell that story in a way that somebody who isn't living your life can fall in love with the romance of who you're becoming.
The advice you've given today is take risks, get on stages. And you brought up the fact that you have 2 broadcast licenses, and we were talking about this yesterday because I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about the Baltimore thing. So
Yeah,
no. Okay. So we know a mutual friend, or we mutually know somebody, I haven't really had any conversation with them, but Danny knows them, and Danny's on radio in Niagara, and they just did something in Baltimore. And
Yeah, we purchased a
because I just spent
license
so
in
much time in
Baltimore.
Baltimore. I just spent so much time in that area, right? Going to conferences and meeting
You're
people.
listening to Star 97 FM and WBLR 99.9 FM. Yeah, that's
So that's obviously a risk, because you told me that radio doesn't really pay that much. So what was behind the investment with expanding into Baltimore?
one of the things that's very important in becoming YouTube famous is social proof, which is a strong part of our conversation yesterday. When you want to be on Wikipedia, and I don't mean to throw you under the bus specifically, Mike, but when you wanted to be on Wikipedia, you have all these accolades of things that you've done in life. But if you don't have social proof, they don't allow you to post them, or they don't allow you to use them. So what does your social proof look like? I needed an opportunity to create social proof that would make me live in an unfair world. I'm competing with entertainers, actors, actresses, a number of different people who were all competing for that same spot, especially in the Got Talent industry. What sets me apart from the other people? Social proof. So radio is something that we've accepted forever. Literally before television, we've accepted that radio is a platform, a strong platform of, we would hope, honest integrity broadcasting. That's what we hope for. So generally speaking, when somebody becomes a voice on the radio, or they become a guest on radio, it allows social proof if the radio station provides it. So in my station, if I were to have you on as a guest or as a host, I would post that on my social media platforms and my websites. And because of that, now, using Wikipedia as an example, you could say, oh, I was a guest or a host on Star 97 FM WBLR 99.9. You see, you got to go right into the voice right away. So my business allows me to create social proof for people who have none. So if you want to be a successful author, a successful speaker, a successful YouTuber, if you want to find success, the only way you're going to truly get it is to stop playing on the same field as everybody else and not play fair. Because the people who are getting bookings and are getting the commercial ads on YouTube and all of those things are because they're playing at a higher level. It doesn't mean that their content is better or that their story is better or even that their character is better. It just means that they have social proof so that somebody like me will actually listen. Right now, if 10 people on this group sent me an email saying they'd like to be a guest, let's just say that, and they said, I am Jim Jones and I would like to be a guest on your show. I wrote a book about ABC and I love talking about the sun. Well, I'm going to put that into a social media search and find out who this person is because I certainly don't want them to be on my show if they're associated with a hate group or violence or abuse against women or children. Like there's so many things that make them a bad guest. So I want to search their social media proof. Well, when I search their social media proof, and the first thing that pops up is that Mike was on Q107 in Toronto. I already know that they did their research, so I can stop. Once I see that he's on our standard broadcasting radio station, or once I see he's been on television, I know he's passed a social media audit or they would have taken his clip down. So for me, owning a radio station is very important when I can in the United States because for the people who I have as part of my talent agency or as part of my circle, it means that I can offer them social media proof that allows them to get a foot in the door. We talked a number of times during our conversation today about the door is cracked open. It's up to you to kick it in. My whole service in radio and in my talent agency is to provide the crack. I don't care if you kick the door in. I've just cracked it open. If you want to peek through, there's all kinds of good happening on the other side. It's up to you to kick that door in. So when you get on a show or you host a show or you do something, you're going to get the social media proof that will open up all of the other doors. It's like the Matrix. It's the key guy. When they see that you're a host on a radio station or they see that you're a regular contributor to a standard broadcasting station, they are more able to sign you as a guest or suggest you be on television because they know I wouldn't have you if I didn't think you were worthy of it. That's why I own 2 radio stations, is because I need the social proof to get on television, radio, and to build my persona as this Danny Zzzz character. And I could have did it the old way and called 1,000 radio stations and nailed my tongue to a tree and did something that could get me that radio. But because I was in a situation where I had the opportunity working in radio to buy a broadcasting license, I created my own door. I don't need a door. Now, if you search my name in radio, I mean, you're going to see tons of social proof. And if it's funny, we were talking about Wiki pages, and I don't have one, but I could get one because I have so many television shows or radio shows that give me what they need to prove who I am as a character. So when we talk about defining our own character and who we need to be, the first thing we need to do is know who we need to be. Then we need to create content, which we had talked about, and then we need social proof for that character in order for you to be successful. The measurement and the recipe is not a secret. If you follow along, if you listen to the people who've had success, or you listen to Mike and say, this is what we need to do in order to find the success, it's not a secret. But you do have to follow the recipe. You can't put the yeast in last. You got to follow how it works in order for it to grow. And I'm very proud to join up with him and work with him under a number of circumstances. And I can say to you, he'll do so many things for you that I can never to. But I can offer social media proof. I can offer that sort of thing. So that's where, in the beginning of the conversation, I said, look at the people that you surround yourself with. They have to have strong work ethics and they have to be able to provide something. I don't have you eat at my table unless you bring the dessert. We have to put food on the table. Everybody has to. So there has to be enough meat on the bone that everybody gets to eat. And what's great about him and I working together is the fact that I don't do what he does and he doesn't do what I do. But when we do it together, it's really unstoppable. So for you, as you look at where you fit in this equation, that's where it's so essential, is you can certainly be a part of something that's growing and do something that's going to benefit you. But you should also take a look at how you can serve others and what you can bring to the table, because you're an expert in your own field. You're better at what you've done in your life than anybody else. And because of that, it makes you very valuable to the people who are around you. The stories that I tell you are just because of my experience. I promise you, any one of you could sit and talk for an hour and I would listen to you, because I've never done what you've done, which is incredible. So um, that's where social and videos and things like that are life changing, is because they give you the ability to learn from others unconditionally. It's amazing.
Yeah. And this is the whole reason I brought you on, was because I'm like, building a business, we know it's ups and downs, remove add services, remove services, what stages you get on, how you can broadcast your message. It's all about taking risks. Because the more risks you're going to take, you're also going to get positive and negative feedback. And you got to have that mindset. You had the mindset, you said, hey, I've never done this before. I'm going to let them drop me from a crane. Like, it's just crazy, but you took the risk. It worked out. Might have broken bones, et cetera, but it works
A
out,
few
right?
surgeries, no big deal.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's literally, I'm like, we know mutual people who have, a book series or whatever about taking risks, right? And every book I've ever written, it comes down to this. I'm like, it's the hours you put in, the commitment you put in, and how you build those relationships with other people, right? Because I
Hmm.
told you, I'm like, I came here. I'm not here to sell you on anything. I know you from mutual friends. We've chatted before. We traded books in November when I saw you in DC, and I know you post a lot about your family, and I tell everybody, my family's first. They're literally on the road with me. We're
Yep.
taking these risks, going to new cities, getting comfortable and being uncomfortable. I've never lived outside of Canada before. We've spent like, how much time in the last 2 years between Dubai, between US, meeting people, expanding those relationships and saying, how can I help you? Right? Obviously, I'm not a magician. I'm not a hypnotist.
Yep.
I'm not in the entertainment world yet, but we're building the content to show our lifestyle of being on the road and the successes and failures of building a business along the way. Because people ask me how it goes. I'm like, I can give you all the examples of all of our customer interactions, what works well, what doesn't work well, what type of people I stay away from. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're solving problems every day, documenting it and taking risks and looking for those doors that we can crack open a little bit and build those relationships further. Because if you're looking for those opportunities, you'll spot them. And if you don't know they exist out there, you need, you're not going to see them until
Hmm.
somebody says, hey, that thing you did back there, I hear it all the time. I was in DC a couple of weeks ago, and I had somebody sit down at the end of this AI conference. I had somebody sit down across from me in the lobby of the Ritz-Carlton. I watch you on Facebook. Never met them before, right?
Hmm.
And she's like, I know people you know. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
great. She's like, where's your house in Calgary? I'm like, my house is outside of the city. She's like, well, like what side? I'm like, on the way to Drumheller,
Yeah.
right? Like, do
It's
you
in the
know where
parking
I
lot right
live?
now. Yeah.
Right? But I'm like, it's not really hard to find because it's listed on Google Maps, right? But it was just I was like, okay.
Mm.
And she's like, yeah, I follow you. And she's like, I'm going to watch the recordings of the YouTube. But of course, she's in a career change. And she's like, I want to know what to do next. And I'm like, you're in this AI world. You've got this engineering degree, petroleum. And I'm like, start making content, building a following, and see who reaches out. Because when you're open to opportunities, they're going to come. And it's up to you to take the bulls by the horn and go with it. Or just get over being scared about everything, because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You're either happy with what you accomplished today or you're not happy with what you accomplished today.
Yeah,
And then
100%.
and if we wake up tomorrow and we're granted another day, I tell people I've got plans a week from now, a month from now. I kind of have an idea where I'm going. I got all these things to do, but I'm like, I still have to get through today and be happy with the person I am today.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Right?
Well, listen, I'm going to wrap it up for me in a
Yeah,
minute because I have a
you
10:30
can probably
call.
hear my dog. My dogs are ready to go out for their second break
Yeah. Well, this is what
nowadays.
I'm going to say for anybody who's on and anybody who's watching. I will undoubtedly endorse you and what you're doing. I can say to you that I am not doing it in the capacity that I should. When you and I have conversations, I just like you try to make notes or try to remember everything that you say because you're saying it for a reason. And the opportunity to be able to jump on a call or a Zoom like this and take all the information that people have to share is so incredibly valuable that um, whether people are doing business with you and they should or they're not, the value that you bring to the table when you offer these talks and these Zooms is absolutely incredible. I'm super excited to see what other speakers come to the table and what they bring because I know that in my own lane, I feel confident that the people who are watching took a few notes and will remember a few things. So hopefully that's the case. Um, it I'm not selling anybody anything. If you go to tricoretalent.com, TRICORE talent.com, that's an example, a perfect example of the type of social media proof a person needs in order to find success. I'm not saying to you to go to that for that reason, but I'm saying that when you're trying to look at what you need in order to be successful, sometimes nobody gives you the roadmap of what it should be. So it's worth researching. Listen to the people who talk on these YouTubes and on these social media channels, sorry, and and learn and ask questions and research it because you're only going to have that success by stepping out of your norm and finding out what other people know that you don't. And there's no question sitting with you and your wife yesterday and hopefully again today that you know such a considerable more about that platform than I ever would know that I'm lucky to have your ear when we get the opportunity to
Yeah,
talk.
just because I was told I had people trolling me, telling me my YouTube sucked, and I'm like, wait a minute, I got two podcasts. What are you telling me sucked? It wasn't the content; it was what the YouTube channel looked like. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, because people are judgy, and when they go to a YouTube channel and it
Yeah.
doesn't look pretty, they're posting a lot, but come on, look at their thumbnails and their background,
I'm
and
gonna I'm gonna
they're
leave I'm gonna leave this with two very, very quick 30-second stories. The
go
first
ahead.
one was I was a guest on Howard Stern's show, and I remember him saying to me, I'm only where I am because I did something that nobody else did. So if you look at the king of all media, he didn't follow the bouncing ball. He didn't do what everybody else was doing. He did what was best for him, and in turn, he became the top. The second thing was I opened for David Copperfield in Las Vegas, and he is one of the greatest magicians of all time. There's no question the accolades of what he's done in his career are second to none. We were rehearsing, and I said to him, two things I said. The first thing I said to him when we were rehearsing is, this angle, I'm worried that somebody might see how this trick is done. And he said, the 10 people who see how the trick is done doesn't matter because we're entertaining 9,990 others. So it means that sometimes tipping your hat or sharing that information, you have to in order to achieve that success. But the bulk of the majority of people will be tricked by the illusion. That's a good advice. And the last thing that David said to me was, he has a warehouse of magic. And when I say a warehouse of magic, tens of thousands of tricks. Literally in Las Vegas, it's like a Costco or a Sam's Club store, but it's just his collection of magic. It's ridiculous. And I remember saying to him, boy, I have so many tricks. And he said, I have these because I can collect them. He's certainly financially stable to afford them. He said, if you want to be successful in magic, find your 10 favorite tricks and do them better than anyone else in the world. So I found the 10 that I absolutely loved and I mastered them. And I joke with my colleagues and friends, my show never changes. For 25 years, I've been doing the same 10 tricks. I just do them so good that I can do them over and over and over and over again. So I give David Copperfield the accolades of that success because that advice just made me work on them. Instead of having 25 or 50 or 100 tricks that I was 70% good at, I'm 100% good at 10 of them. I'm the best at 10. And because of that, people pay to see it happen over and over and over again. So reflect back on your own life at what is valid and what's important, and just be the best version of yourself. And if you can do that, the success will come. It doesn't matter if somebody says your YouTube channel isn't good or they don't like your shirt or they don't do that, because the people who are ultra successful don't care what other people think. They do what's best for them. So in the voice of Howard Stern, David Copperfield, and me, Danny Z, you just be you.
100%. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, listen, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. And I will be a guest again, and I will be a person in the background listening to somebody else talk when it's their turn. I'm happy to be a part of this group. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
If you want to leave, that's okay. Because I'm going to wrap up this recording by just going over why we were talking about Wikipedia, because I've been rejected by Wikipedia because my social proof is there, but it's not strong enough because of certain factors that has happened in the last year. We were talking about this yesterday, right? So, and we didn't talk about yours, but I was just like, I know how to make myself show up on normal search engines, and now trying to get onto AI, I show and
Yeah.
it likes me. But then I was like, oh wait, being listed, the social proof, how many links can you get yourself or your business listed on?
Yep.
And not every podcast ends up staying around forever, and the links get removed, and hence why whatever you do, you want a recording of it to just throw it up on your YouTube as a reference,
Yeah. And
because
if you notice, Facebook is stopping keeping all the
well, they
videos and
delete.
stuff up. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
well, because Facebook's not a video
of
repository, and I
course,
know
but that's where
Instagram's not a video repository, TikTok's not,
that's
but
why YouTube is so
they're
essential.
attention grabbers, right?
Yep.
That's what those platforms are for, and the goal is to make content, get your long form, your archival stuff on YouTube once a week, add something new, and then use the attention grabbers to direct that stuff over to your YouTube. But that's
Yeah.
a strategy. Not everybody likes it, but that's a strategy. But anyway,
Yeah.
we can talk about it for hours because I've literally been building all these building blocks, and Wikipedia is like, I like this. You can't use that. You can't use this. You can't use that. It is like, okay, but I've been on the radio a couple times, and this is why I reached out to you, because I'm like, you got radio licenses, and we should put like something. I was asked recently to make something for seniors, and I was like, well, we already help seniors, but I was like, oh, we could do like, some type of show or something, right? So I was like, okay. And I know somebody's got radio access because
Hmm.
I've been on radio before, but it hasn't happened in a year. I told you my last radio appearance, I can't even find it on the internet anymore, which is
Yeah.
weird. It only happened a year ago. It is like, I think I recorded it, but I haven't put it up anywhere. So now I have to go find that stuff and
Well, for
rebuild
people who
my
want
proof
that,
of.
for
But
people who
right,
want that radio or that social proof, I'm on radio every single day. So
I
always
know. I'm
looking
just
for content,
saying.
always looking for people, always looking for
All my
contributors.
business coaches have said post every single hour of every single day, but I'm like, if you're posting on just Facebook or Instagram,
Yeah, yeah.
nobody's going to see that except that audience. It needs to be everywhere's, and then recorded and just put somewheres for safekeeping. So when you do have somebody new who comes and finds out about you, they have all that content they can go through, right?
Yep. Yep.
Even if they never buy anything from you, they're still part of your audience, and you need to know, and you may be looking for new ideas or stories or new platforms or whatever. And you're like, hey, go read your YouTube comments. Everybody's going to be really um, honest.
People only comment the bad stuff. That's
No,
somebody
no,
who's,
no. They don't.
oh
I
man, I
get
can
so
sell it
much.
to you.
We get a ton of like certain stuff. We get a ton of positive. Always gonna be negative, but there's
Yeah,
always
there's
gonna be
always
there's gonna be
somebody.
more negative than positive. But
I
the
always
positive stuff
I
is
always
the
love
gold.
when I'm on fire in a box being dropped from a crane and they say it's a trick. I was like, yeah, it
It's
didn't feel like
AI.
a trick when I was at the hospital getting treated for burns. You know what I mean? Like it didn't
No,
feel like a
what?
trick when I was getting my shoulder
Well,
replaced. Yeah, yeah.
it
So
it, it, it is just this thing today, why we're saying make content
Yeah.
is because you're got like there's so much garbage out there because everything is AI generated. I make AI stuff, everybody makes it, but there's still stories behind that, right? That is just like if you're not making content or planning to make it,
Hmm.
get started with your for your business or your brand or your nonprofit or your charity because if you're not out there talking about it, nobody's gonna know about it,
Hmm.
And
right?
that, sorry, I just want
Yeah.
to
Go
summarize
ahead.
back to Danny, like having the, just kind of summarizing up that, really having the ability to have like that credit of a radio station, like you guys were saying, that's come before TV, it's come before internet, and be able to have that on as reference to get built into Wikipedia is just
Hmm.
building that legacy and that connection too. So
Of course.
definitely need to help everybody establish that. So that's what's really great, is if we can make personas and people can, have some content with you and help your radio station as well. But we need to do that for you too and help you build your wiki. So then there's that legacy on there and connecting everything.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Well,
So,
it's just great to have it because if somebody starts it on your behalf, you have no control of it. But if you submit it on your behalf, you have control of it. So they trying to talk smack about you. You're like, hey, I create my own destiny. I've submitted my own Wikipedia. I'm in
sure.
charge of it. I'm not gonna get smeared. You do it. You get in trouble with America's Got Talent. They could smear you or not. I don't know, but
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm in their pocket just enough that they only have nice things to say.
I don't know.
Yeah.
As I said, we didn't even talk about how you got started with them, but I take it
Yeah.
up
We
a
could go
lot of
over
your
and
time
over.
today already. So
Yeah, listen, I have another.
it will be the next interview when we bring you on in a couple of weeks, couple of months, whatever we after we plan to do
Yeah.
whatever we're gonna plan to
When I
do.
was
So
4 minutes skating in on this one, it's because I have another one that I should be on right now. I'll be 4 minutes skating late on that one too.
that's okay. That's
Please,
okay.
please, guys, you can see my name on my picture. I entertain under Danny Zzzz. My social media is under Danny Zzzz. My real name is Daniel Pollan, and that's where I get the Facebook family posts. I keep both characters different. Danny Z, you'll see the chaos. Daniel Pollan, you'll see the father. But please, if you're not part of me on social media, find me and friend me. I love that. Please check out my tricoretalent.com. I think that there's lots of social proof for people who want it. Obviously, you can go to star97fm.com if you'd like to listen to us on radio or see what we got going on. But more importantly, invest in yourself. And I can't wait to be a guest on one of your shows or be a part of something that you're doing. So today's the first day towards a fantastic career in YouTube. So reach out to Michael and his beautiful wife and make an impact on your own life. That's what it's all about. That's why he brings people together like this, is to share that knowledge. And I'm glad to be a part of it today. So, guys, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Danny, for joining us on week 19 of IamYouTubeFamous.com. This has been recorded. Join the Facebook group. It's I Am YouTube Famous. You can find all these recordings get automatically uploaded to YouTube. Go subscribe on YouTube for I Am YouTube Famous. Super simple. If you're on the email list, you'll get an email once a week with the recording links and the Zoom link. And we'll see you same time, same place next week for we're going on to week 20 of YouTube University, right? So
Bye.
keep posting, keep making your content. We look forward to you sharing your YouTube channel with us on the Facebook group. And once we subscribe to you, we will get notified when you make new content. And that's how we're growing your YouTube channel and growing this group, is by sharing everything. All right. I'll see you next week. Thank you. Thank you for everybody leaving comments.